Greetings! Yellowbelly here. Oh, what happened to me chat box? Where's that disappeared to? Oh, that's a great start. That's an absolute brilliant start, isn't it? Oh, not to worry. Well, we have another... Ah, here it is. It's working now. Superb. Right, we have yet another Retro-Recollections, and we have a fabulous guest this week. You all know her in the background, but she does sit in the background a little bit too much, and I thought, you know what, it's about time this young lady got a little bit of the old love and a little bit of the old attention. So here she is. It is the Glammy Grot Bags, tattooed Harridan herself, Kate White. Hiya, Kate.
Are you alright?
Yeah, excellent. Absolutely excellent. Well, we've got 21 people already in the chat just waiting to see you, my love. How cool is that?
I love that owl there in the middle of us.
Did you like that? Yeah, I did. I did say. Well, also we'll play a little bit of where's Wally now? Can you find the other one on the old shelving unit there?
Oh yes, there next to the office. There's Al with the spear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Superb. Yes, I thought I would have the good old Al there between us, keeping me at bay, as my reputation is with the ladies is a little bit, shall we say? Well, everybody knows what my reputation is. I don't have to say. So, how are you feeling?
Nervous.
Right. Well,
looking forward to it, but also nervous.
Yeah, right. Well, there's nothing to be nervous about because if you look in the chat, you are amongst friends.
Yes.
So there's nothing to be nervous about. So I'm just going to have a quick scan through the chat. Who've we got? We got Johnny B straight in. We got Craig Harrison. Good to see you, matey. We got 8-Bit Rage. How you gorgeous? You all right? All right. Yeah, you still haven't sent me them nudes yet. And who else have we got? 80s Retro Gamer, Mikey Smith, of course. He's been helping me in the background with some settings. Hopefully no crashes this week until I get my brand new laptop in a couple of weeks. Let's have a look there. Sir Nick of Tech, good to see you. Steve W, who was my guest the other week. Excellent YouTuber. Of course, we've got Mr. Zypho himself, keeping an eye on things, making sure I don't overstep the mark. We have the gorgeous Andrea Wyatt, my comrade in arms, my support system at the moment with work and with all this kind of stuff. And there's Annie Viking, evening, Gavna. So, and let's have a look. Who else we got? Who else we got? Simi. We got Simi. Yeah, you're getting on here, mate. I'm having you on there, definitely. DVD Film Bloke, good to see you again, buddy. Jason Grant, hello, good to see you. We've got Jill La, good to see you. The legend that is Mr. Walker, Pete the Walker, and Anna. Oh, hello, Anna. How you doing, my lovely? And who else? I think that's about it. Looking through, yeah, all the chats are in, which is fabulous. Fabulous. So, here we go, Kate. Deep breath. Nothing so.
About deep breaths. I was doing some yoga today, and because I go running and I have to do a bit of yoga to get some stretching, and it reminds me when the lady on the video is going, relax into your stretch, and from the next room you can hear, "Fuck off." And it's Al playing on his tubers game, so I think he's done a run for that. But
yeah. Well, if you don't mind, obviously you are well known in your own right, I believe, but also as the support mechanism for the excellent Zypho himself, Al. How can I put this now? How do you find now he's obviously becoming bigger and bigger as a YouTuber, and he's getting a bigger... How are you finding, is it easy to support him? Is it getting harder?
Yeah, really proud of him, to be honest, because I've seen how much work he puts into it, and you know how much he loves this subject matter as well. I mean, when we first got together and he first told me about it, and he said to me in a rather dodgy way, you know, I've got something I need to tell you. It's something I do, and I thought, oh my God, is he a furry or something? And he said, no, I do this retro gaming channel about old Amstrads. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, good. You know, because I like my retro games too, albeit Mega Drive and Master System. And so, you know, as he went on, and it's just something he does, and something, you know, every weeknight he'll be streaming, and during the daytime or whatever, or when he's free, he's doing things like, you know, researching things or going to harass a coder or something. But yeah, I'm cool with that. And I mean, if he does piss me off, you know, I'll tell him and say, look, it's about time you had some family time. But those times are very few and far between. It's something he's good at, and I'm just so chuffed that he's finally getting some recognition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a superb. I mean, I know he's in the chat, and he's you know, he's going to struggle getting his head through the doorways the way we're talking about him. He is one half, I would say, of the existence of this community. I think the community's grown and grown, and it's because of Zypho, and I've got to give Bug credit as well, Novabug. But yeah, and it just doesn't sit. It's just expanding constantly, so it's great. Yeah, I think I struggle with the balance, and I went through a phase where I was knocking videos out every week, and it was affecting the life and online balance. So yeah, so I'm very I'm very aware of the difficulties, and I do get the odd dig off the missus saying, you know, come on.
Oh yeah, I give him digs.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh, super. But how do you cope with his 5 to 10 hour streams that he does?
Well, the ones on a Friday. I mean, I just sit in bed with a load of chocolate and watch him till I fall asleep, and I'm okay with that. You know, it keeps him out of trouble. I'd rather him be doing that than getting pissed in the pub every day. So, you know, at least it's a constructive hobby. And, you know, it gives me leeway, because then I can say to him, right, I want to go kickboxing, and he's okay with that. And we can still do our own thing, and we can support each other in the things that we do, rather than it being a competition, or, you know, being defined by each other. You know, he's got his stuff, I've got mine, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's great. It's great that you both support each other in it. And like you said, it's not a competition. It's support. Yeah, it's superb. So I want to get down now to the reason for this stream, really, and that's all about you, my dear. He's had enough credit for now. Yeah. So I sent a list, as I do with everybody. Everybody who has had a list, please, if you get a chance, fill it in and send it back so I can start scheduling more people in. So what I would like to do is talk to you a little bit about toys. Now, the toys you chose are... Here's one. Oh, no, not that one. I want that one first. There we go. Right. And also what I have is, while we're discussing this, I can wallop that. Is the sound off? Yes, the sound's off on that. Sorry, I'm just clicking buttons at the moment. And I can have it between us rather than the angry Ewok. And there we go. So, the first one of the ones you chose was this VTech. What memories do you have of this VTech?
Well, with mine, I won it in an arts competition. It was something that was done at my dad's work. You know, families were all invited there, and there was a chance for the kids to do a competition. And all the kids had a go, and I put my entry in, and I think it was either first or second prize I won. You could pick your prize, And so yeah, I saw that and it's like, yeah, I'd like one of those, please, because it just looked interesting. It looked like and there was plenty to do on it, because I've always been the sort of person, and when I was a kid, I always liked toys that you can do something with, that are useful or interesting, that you can get something out of. I mean, lots of girls my age, they were all into like, My Little Pony and stuff like that. And to me, a My Little Pony, it's just an horse with a pattern on its bum. It's nothing. What can you do with it? It's not interesting. You just sit it there and look at it. So with that, there were so many functions and so many different games you could play on it, and I found it really interesting. So I picked that, and I got many hours of entertainment from it.
Rightio. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's like you said. It's certainly different from, like you said, the My Little Ponies and things like that. Yeah, certainly different. Did it have BASIC on it, like a programming language?
I'm not sure. You could. You didn't do so much programming. You would just type in a command, if that's programming. Just type in a code, and it would take you to a specific game, which you could then do. I didn't notice any programming, or I don't remember, but
yeah,
it's you could learn typing and stuff like that, which I was totally crap at, and still am totally crap at. But yeah, it kept me occupied for ages, just doing the different games on it. You could take it on holiday, albeit it guzzled battery, because you could just pop it on your knee, and it felt like you had your own little laptop.
Yep. Okay, up. So your next choice of toys was, and I won't play the video for this one because it's causing the stream to stutter, but is this little thing, the Petite Office Activity Centre. Tell me about it.
Why carry a briefcase to the office when you can carry the office in a briefcase? The Petite Office Activity Centre has everything you'll find in a real office.
Yes, sir.
A typewriter.
I'm writing to tell you. Goodness, look at the time.
A clock. An intercom system. Plus pencil, sharpener, and paper. And, of course, a switchboard. And telephone.
It's for you.
Petite. It's a small world.
Well, this was I had a couple of these growing up. I think the one I got first, I must have been about 4 or 5, and again, it was something that I could do like imaginary play with, and play with it for hours. There was a little phone you could dial on. In one of them, not that specific one, but you had a little pretend intercom that you could talk to people on, and you'd have your little notepad and pencils and things. That it sounds very Arnold Rimmery, but it was another thing that I really loved and liked to do different things with, and you could sit there on it and draw, and just pretend you're doing an office job or whatever, and it kept you occupied for hours. And you could fold it down, and it was like a suitcase thing, and you could carry it about with you, and it was pretty huge though if you were a kid, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, again, it was one of the. It's one of those toys that you used your imagination with.
Yeah.
Right, which is pretty rare nowadays. People don't get to use kids don't get to use their imaginations. It's there in front of them, isn't it? As such.
Well, I think a lot of kids' toys these days, from what I've seen, what I've seen my kids play with, they're so half-arsed nowadays, because you do have the sort of, with more of us are more reliant on technology, like with playing games on pads or whatever, and it's like toy makers can't be asked to make interesting toys. When we were growing up, you had things like Transformers, which you could take to bits and put, change and put them back together again, and now you don't have that. You might have a simple thing that shoots a little missile at people, and you have your obvious Nerf guns, but there's nothing there that really captures a kid's imagination so much.
Yeah. It's quite funny, really. My sister-in-law on Facebook put a post up on Facebook, and I think it was of me brother's. I think she's only about 2 or 3, and she was there with a blanket and 2 hairbrushes, and she was putting the hairbrushes to bed, and she says, "God, you spend all that money on the toys, and they use hairbrushes."
Oh yeah, baby Zai once. It was last Christmas, and we'd got him all these different toys, and so had his grandparents. But the thing he was most interested in was this little digger that I'd got. It was a stocking present from the pound shop, and that's all he was bothered about for most of Christmas.
Yeah. Definitely. It's the old thing that the box tends to be played with more than the actual toy that it comes in. Yeah, so I used to play in boxes all the time. It was great fun. Make little forts. It was nice to see a toy that uses imagination. And now, speaking of imagination, and I'm just going to be dead straight on this one. If I can, can you explain?
I know what it is.
Yeah, can you explain this to everybody? It looks like a morgue.
Those are my Barbie dolls. My parents initially and some relatives over the years made the mistake of getting me Barbie dolls, and again it's like, what can you do with them? Well, I cut their hair and gave them piercings and tattooed them with a biro, and my mum was absolutely ashamed of me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just zoomed in, and there's one there in fishnets bodysuit, by the looks of it. Now, is this where your how can I put it? I won't say goth, but that style started.
I guess so, maybe, yes.
Yeah, and
I wasn't good with girly toys. Girly stuff just didn't interest me at all, and my mum stopped buying me Barbies after a while.
Yeah. Is there any reason why some of them are mutilated?
I think it's because I did used to play hospitals with them, things like hospitals and dentists and things like that, and I used to do operations with them. And
amputations, by the looks of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? What was it? Toy Story, that bedroom scene with all the toys. Yeah, with all the toys that have been mutated and mutilated. So, yeah. So, she pierced its forehead, according to Zypho. There you go. You pierced somebody's forehead. Which one was that? Is it still there? Yeah. Yeah. Well, there we go. That's the toy section. And Anna is quite happy that there is somebody else who's into horror and dismantling human bodies. Maybe you two could...
I'm going to turn Zion to a rug when he pops his clogs. I've got a friend who does taxidermy, and I'm going to get him turned into a nice rug.
Well, there you go, Zypho. Sorry, mate. You'll when you pop your clogs, you'll be walked on by your missus, even when you're dead. Happy days indeed. Well, obviously we're going to move on now. On to the next section, really. And guys, if you do have any questions for Kate, please do just tag my name in it, or I don't know if are you logged in on the so they can ask you directly on the YouTube. Yeah. So there you go. Well, what are you on this? Are you Kate or tattooed on this one? I'm not sure.
Oh, on YouTube. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you logged in, or is Zypho logged in?
I'm logged in on Zyphos.
Okay. Yeah, well, there we go. All right, so, yeah, if you do have a question, do it at Zypho. There you go, for any questions. And, yes, you can call me Al. Yub knob. There we go. Yeah, so feel free to ask. And Zypho, don't answer for her. So... there we go. That wasn't so bad, was it? Now, we shall move on, and I'm going to move scenes now, and we're going to have a look-see at All Being Well, if I can get this. But yes, yeah. So Thundercats, we'll cover that first. What do you have like favorites things about Thundercats?
I don't have any favourite episodes, but yeah, I just like the whole format, the whole adventures. Same with stuff like He-Man. You with the Thundercats, you had Mum-Ra, and he used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. And I've noticed, compared to, I know I'm going to sound like an old fart, compared to cartoons today, you know, you don't really get any convincing baddies anymore. You don't get sort of a horrible evil Skeletor or Mum-Ra or someone to be afraid of. And you know, nowadays baddies are just a bit naughty in kids shows, or they're just, what is it, pesky, and it's not the same. It doesn't give you that whole, you know, goodies, baddies, good and evil, and that you had. And Mum-Ra, because he was so horrible, and it was just so nice seeing the Thundercats get one over him. It was, you know, I just loved it, and I just loved the fact that there was a female character in it, and hey, she wasn't a complete wet wimp, you know, she was somebody interesting and had weapons and things like that.
Yeah. Were you drawn in? Did you see somebody did like that? They pieced together film footage from various famous actors, and they did a Thundercats movie trailer.
Oh no, I've not seen that.
You've not seen that? Oh right, I'll find that and I'll send that to you. But it was so convincing, I really believed it was real. So there has been rumours about a Thundercats movie for years, same as another He-Man movie. So that'd be absolutely awesome. So Ghostbusters wise, we'll go on to Ghostbusters now. And again, what was the appeal to that for you?
Again, it was a team full of goodies, and you obviously had Slimer as well. Although I think the first couple of series were the better ones. But I enjoyed all the adventures because I'd seen the films. I'd seen them when I was perhaps a bit too young to, but I was glad I did because I loved them. And the cartoons actually continue on from the film, so it sort of made sense, and it was all part of it.
Yeah.
And I just found the gadgets really exciting, and I can't think. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Did you like? Now I know when Ghostbusters the film came out. And we'll cover movies later. But when that came out, I used to get toilet roll holders and things like that, and cardboard boxes, and shove them on my back and pretend it was a power pack.
Yeah.
Did you do anything like that?
Yes, I did. Yes, making stuff, proton packs and stuff like that, and going after ghosts. And we used to play Ghostbusters in the playground, and you'd have to persuade the boys that to join in because they didn't want you joining in because you were a girl, and you couldn't persuade your girlfriends to play Ghostbusters either because they didn't want to know, they didn't want to get. So I loved the stories, and I loved the fact that they were quite smart-arsed as well. Quite deadpan, and I like the humour in it. And I managed to get hold of the DVD of the first series and show it to my kids as well. And my older boys used to really like it. So because kids TV is, some of it is good, but some of it is really crap. So I've decided to educate them with things like Trapdoor and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I used to do things like that. Definitely. Oh, it's doing it again. It's buffering, and I've closed everything. That's bizarre. It'll pick back up again. Sorry about this, Kate. No, it's saying it's okay now. Now it's saying minor issues. Now it's saying it's good. Might be the weather. I've got really bad weather up here. I don't know if people can hear it through it, but we've got gale force winds living in Anglesey. Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next one now, and I know what I'm going to do is, because I'm having so many issues again with this stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to put the clips in between rather than have them playing live. So I'll edit the video and I'll put the intros in for the promos. But of course, it's a subject that you spent hours chatting to Andrea about, and the other love of your life, who's currently above Al on the screen at the moment, Mr. Michael Praed.
Oh yes. In Robin of Sherwood. I mean, I loved the whole series 1, 2 and 3. Jason Connery, who was the second Robin in it, I mean, he was good, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't Michael Praed. And I used to love watching them out because they were on in quite the early 80s, and I know my parents used to have it on, and I liked it then. And I think they recorded it off the telly. And I used to watch it growing up, and I loved it. Into my teens, I was LARPing as well, so I took a lot of influence from Robin of Sherwood into the LARPing I was doing. I managed to collect some of the adventure books.
Oh, let me put you on big screen for that. Just give me a second. There we go. There you go. You're on big screen now. You can for show and tell.
Yeah, I got some of the Robin of Sherwood books that you sort of you do this and then go to page whatever and follow the story like that, like you would in a lot of computer games. And I've even got me original. I've got the green screen's making it go funny, but the original single, and it still works.
Yeah.
And I made Zypho sit through all the episodes of it, and he moaned and complained, but it's Michael Praed, and it's where I got my love for men with hairy chests from, because Michael Praed is got a nice full pelt, and that's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sparse, I'm afraid. So yeah, and it's all grey, so you wouldn't see it anyway. I dye my hair, but not my chest. So yeah, you mentioned LARPing, and it's something that I like myself. Have you done LARP for a while, or?
I've not done it for years and years, but I used to do it loads in sort of my late teens, early 20s. I mean, if you in the sort of late 90s, early noughties, if you'd gone down Bramcote Woods in Stapleford, you would have found a group of nutters dressed in medieval gear twatting each other with latex swords. Well, I was one of those nutters.
Yeah.
I used to do tabletop role play as well, but I did prefer LARP, and I know Al tries to call me a massive nerd for it, even when he does nerd porn, but I used to love doing it, and to be honest, it was only when I went to uni and that kind of got in the way that I stopped doing it. But it wasn't really through choice that I had to give it up. It was just other things got in the way.
Yeah. Did you fancy returning to it?
Possibly. I'd try and take Al with me. Could make a nice woodland creature.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
yeah, maybe a furry one with a spear.
Well, a friend of mine was actually in Robin of Sherwood. He was an extra. He still lives near us, and he's got loads of medieval armour that he's got from sets from various programs, and it's real proper chainmail and swords. And if I burgled his house, I'd love to steal some of the swords from there. And that's why I love Robin of Sherwood and LARPing, because I've always liked using weapons in the martial arts I do myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked weapon work.
Yeah. If people are not aware, Kate is really into the martial arts. She does the kickboxing and stuff like that. And she's. It's strange, really. When I found out she was doing it, I was like, well, yeah, she can beat fellas up, and I found that erotic. But and it saves paying for the service, I suppose. Going back, what was your do you have like a main character when you're LARPing?
Yes, and you play them basically until you die. You sort of build them up with the XP that you got from the previous session, so to speak, and you build your hit points up, you build your attacks up, and a lot of computer games today are built on the same principle.
Yeah, the same system.
And obviously you'd get your costume and you'd get more XP for the better your costume was.
I think it's fascinating. I'd love to do it. I've mentioned it to you in the past, because I'm a big one for swords and stuff like that. And I'd love to have a go. I do the old pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons. I do the old.
I do that. Yes.
Yeah, I do all of that. I do absolutely all sorts. And I've just noticed when the wind picks up outside, I get a thing that my stream's dropping, so it may be the weather. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, that's. Did you do the board games or anything like that in the 90s? The old Games Workshop stuff.
No, I didn't do the board games so much, but no, I did. It was mostly with the dice and with pen and paper, and you know, meeting up in groups and doing a bit of role play.
Yeah.
And I used to always find it fun to play not daft characters, but unusual characters.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell us about a character now. One of your characters.
Oh, one was I decided to play an ogre called Cynthia. That was one of my characters.
Sounds like my first wife.
And yeah, I had other more sensible ones as well, but yeah, if you want to prat about and play a massive ogre called Cynthia, then
you can do. Yeah. Well, I think at some stage when all this malarkey is over, I know Zypho mentioned a while ago about popping over to Anglesey for a holiday for you, so I'll have all my D&D stuff set up ready for you. And I'll get I'll get you on the board games as well. That'd be awesome. So that kind of leads nicely. Again, I'm not going to put the videos or anything like that on because of the issues I'm having.
Yeah.
But it does lead us nicely into gaming, of course. I'm not going to put the emulator on because it'll probably crash the whole stream. Even though I've downgraded everything, it's still playing silly beggars. The one of the first ones I noticed was Asterix, and I was playing it on the Master System. Now you're a big Master System fangirl, aren't you?
Oh yes, I love my Master System, and that game in particular I loved because, well, not only is it, you know, you've got your great music, the sprites look brilliant, and the sprites are two different characters. You know, there's a lot of games where you play two different characters, but in Asterix, the two characters are different in the way that, in the things that they can do, in the way that they attack. You know, you've got Asterix who can fit through small spaces and is a bit more quick and agile. Obelix who is stronger and more powerful, but he's slow and clumsy. And so you have to pick which character's best for the level that you're doing. And you've got all kinds of levels, types of things to play, from a moving platformer to to hunting things down, to all kinds of things, to then fighting bosses. You've got all sorts of different types of game in that one game, and that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
You didn't know what, you know, come the next level, you've got no idea what it's going to throw at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's, did you obviously you had a Master System? Was that your first or machine or?
Well, yeah. I mean, my dad had a Commodore 64, which
don't say those words in front of Al.
I don't remember anything about that. I just remember being sat in front of it as a really small kid. But no, the first one I sat and played properly was my Master System, and I loved it. Even into my teens, I still played it up until when I got a PlayStation. And I think I love my Master System, even when I got a Mega Drive. And although I love my Mega Drive, I love my Master System a bit more. You know, I enjoyed the games a bit more, I think.
Yeah. This was a discussion I was having with somebody. It wasn't necessarily the best equipment that you've got the attachment to. It's the memories that you've got an attachment to. I said, it was like I was brought up on with my Amstrad, like Al was, and yeah, it wasn't the best system out there and all that, but that's the one that. And Al actually, when we were at Blackpool, said it. The best system was the one you grew up with.
Yeah.
So for you, it was the Master System.
Yes.
Definitely. And do you still get a chance to play Master System games?
No, we haven't got a working Master System. Not that I know of. Anyway, there could be one buried somewhere in the house. God knows where. I mean, there's Al's bunghole that's full of all different consoles and games. We've got 2 lofts. One of them is just full of Al's gaming stuff and magazines that he's collected, and the other loft's got even more stuff in. So
yeah, well, I think now is the time to really say. Have you ever considered live streaming Master System games?
Oh God, no.
Because I'll tell you now, all 28 people watching this now will support you if you ever do decide to have a go at that yourself. No, you don't fancy it.
No.
So great. There's certainly not. Right, hang on. We do, for fuck's sake, according to Al. So is that we do? We have one, maybe.
I'm guessing so. Well, there is, if we do, Al, find it, get it working.
Yeah, you were told now, mate. You were told. Get it sorted for her. Yeah, I think it's only fair. Certainly only fair. So, from the Master System, now, you went Master System to Mega Drive. Did you then go to PlayStation? Yeah. And one of the games you mentioned, it was arcade and on the PlayStation 2, I believe. Yeah. That was Tekken.
Oh no, it was on the PlayStation 1.
Right.
It was Well, I had all the 3 Tekkens on the PlayStation 1, Tekken, Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. Tekken 2 and Tekken 3 are the ones that I played in the arcade and then got for my PlayStation.
Round 1, fight! Hey-o! Round 2, fight! Hey-o!
And I love them, and because it's a fighting game and they're so smooth as well. Because with Street Fighter, I found the fighting style very, very blocky. The moves don't flow from one to the other. I mean, I know that's dependent on the available technology at the time, but with Tekken, the characters flowed from one move into another like you would do if you were fighting. Yeah. And I used to sit for ages on my PlayStation trying to learn combos on the practice mode, and I'd get all the characters, and I've played Zypho on it as well and annihilated him.
Excellent. Yes, well, maybe that could be one of your Mr. and Mrs. Streams.
Yes.
kicking his ass on Tekken. I think that we'd all love to see that. We'd like to see you kicking his ass in general. Really, it's quite
There's
amusing.
a character on it I loved called Nina Williams, and again she was a badass woman, and she'd be there fighting in her heels, stockings, and suspenders, like like your generic female fighter does in most 90s video games. But I used to like her style, and I used to sort of, certainly late teens. She was one of the characters that I'd model myself on to go out. Although I still can't do jump, scissor, kick in heels, but
but you're trying. Superb. And we'll move on to the final one, which was you did change your mind on it.
Yeah.
It was King's Quest 7?
7, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about King's Quest 7, because I've never played it.
Hello? Madam Dragon? Wake up!
Yeah, it's a point and click, and we always had a PC in the house because my dad was just the kind of person who loved a gadget. He had to have a gadget, so we had a PC, and when I could get on it, I'd be playing King's Quest 7. Again, it's a great game, all sorts of different levels and stories, and and it also had a helpline to help you get through certain parts, and that I used that helpline, and my mum and dad got the bill, and the bill was over £100, and that's back in 1997, 96, 97. So yeah, you can imagine I got my arse kicked for that.
Oh, definitely. And also, you've set yourself up now for the future if one of your kids do it.
Yes.
You can't have a go.
Well, they've got Google now. They've got no excuse. I didn't have Google in those days.
But, yeah. No, I know a lot of they did... is it a Sierra game?
Yes.
Yeah. Sierra Online had they set up for most of their games these call lines. It was another income for them.
Yeah.
So very clever marketing that. I think it was, if I remember rightly. Now, I think I don't know if you know of the YouTuber Metal Jesus.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, Metal Jesus, and I'm sure he worked for Sierra on the lines. Him and the 8-bit guy. I might be wrong, but I'm sure they did. So, but anyway, I just dropped my mouse. So that was your gaming. Is there any other like games and all that we haven't discussed that you'd like to bring up that you've got really strong, nice memories about?
I mean, obviously, Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I mean, that was the first, because it was built in on my Master System, because it was technically the Master System 2 I had, and you booted it up, and that was the first game I ever played on it, and I loved it, and it's the first one that I played, and you sometimes see it at conventions as well, and it's nice to sort of hog the Master System, and you've got people there waiting, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I should imagine it's like sorry, I'm just picking up my mouse that's full. I should imagine you're a little bit like Zypho at a Star Wars machine.
Yes. If it's something like Tekken or Alex Kidd, then yeah, fuck off. You could try and move me.
Superb. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he did. Yeah, there we go. FC Den Haag's just saying yes. I was right. Metal Jesus did work for Sierra. I thought so. Yeah. We'll just cover arcade then. Obviously, Zypho drags you around to these expos. That's where I met you in person at Blackpool. And how do you find these expos?
Oh, I love them. I mean, I was going to conventions before I met Zypho. My first proper convention, it wasn't a gaming convention as such. It was more of a LARPing convention. It was in Loughborough. And that's where I met Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca, and Jeremy Bulloch, who is in not only Star Wars as Boba Fett, but he's also in Robin of Sherwood as Edward of Wickham. So I got to see him as well. So that was pretty cool. And so when we've been like doing Play Expos, like Play Expo Manchester and whatnot, no, I'd be telling Zy to take me, and I'd get really pissed off with him if he didn't. There have been times where he's gone to conventions without me, and I've been stuck at home with the kids, and yes, I did bloody moan at him and bitch at him.
And so you should. Good night, Brian, by the way. You want to see your dog? He does his evening walk. Yeah, I understand that one. And it was lovely to meet you in person. Now, and if people do not know, Kate is on the tall side. I'll have to say, and if you put her next to me, it literally is Chewbacca and an Ewok. Height wise. And yeah, it's we'll go on to TV programs next, and a little bit more, and obviously the Robin of Sherwood we've discussed, but there was also the Maid Marian one you were talking about.
Oh yeah, the Tony Robinson one, and that sort of did a comedy take on the whole Robin Hood thing, with Maid Marian being the leader of the gang and the heroine, and it was nice and refreshing to see a woman again in charge of things, and not just a pathetic little princess. I really hate this princessification of girls, full stop. I think it's so harmful. And and she was shown as being in a commanding position, but it also had Danny John Jules in as well. And before I ever saw Red Dwarf, I'd seen Maid Marian and Her Merry Men. And you've got the songs like the Pancake Day song, which go and look it up on YouTube if you haven't heard the Pancake Day song. It's really good.
It's Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day. Well it's Pancake Day, it's really Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day. Now the merry men know about pancake making, because Pancake Day is a regular fixture. You take your frying pan and some sugar and jam and get on down to make the mixture. Well you take a dozen eggs, you take a cup of milk, and don't forget to add a little flour, and then you beat it up with a wooden spoon and leave it to settle for just 1 hour, because it's Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day. Well it's Pancake Day, it's crucial Pancake Day, yes it's Pancake Day. But back in the village of Worksop, where the living ain't so funny, they make their pancakes out of dirty old mud, because they ain't got no flipping money. Their smiles are wide because the tears they hide, even though their life is hell. But the smiles stop the fall when the sheriff comes to call, and he brings King John as well.
What on earth are those filthy peasants doing with that disgusting slop?
And they did do a parody of the Clannad song from Robin of Sherwood.
Did for the Whitish Night.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Have you got something to show there?
Yeah, some of the original books.
There we go. So we got a couple of original books there, the Maid Marian books, and
They're a bit knackered because they've been read and read, but I mean the books were amazing.
superb. Yeah. Where did you get them from? Local shop or?
I don't know. I think my mum got them for me.
Oh, right. Yeah. So speaking of parents, did you ever, obviously, were they part of these memories? Obviously, like somebody I was talking to, it's like my mum. She bought me my first Motley Crue album.
Yeah.
You know, so how did your parents fit in with all these things? Were they?
For the most part, I mean, with the whole thing with dollies, my mum was like, okay, right, fair enough, we'll maybe not get to those things. And I mean, they did have a few raised eyebrows when I was sort of getting into things like Marilyn Manson and Korn, and you know, wanting my nose pierced and wanting my belly button pierced, and then if they said no, I just, because I was tall, I could get, you know, I could get served for alcohol, I could get served for cigs, so I could go to a body piercer's shop and get pierced, and which is what I did. And when my mum discovered my navel pierced, and she absolutely lost her shit. But now, I mean, it's like I mean, my dad passed away in 2014, but, you know, as I got older, they just sort of accepted it, whereas they weren't too... I don't think they were expecting their daughter to grow up and, you know, end up covered in tattoos and have lots of piercings, but once... They still got used to it.
Yeah. I was 16 when I got my first tattoo, and I got absolutely leathered for that. I got leathered off my mum and dad for that, and then I got one when when my little lad was born, with his name on, a little baby dragon. We probably won't show.
Well, my first tattoo was on my back. It was it was a proper 90s jobby, you know, the Chinese symbol. Because I wanted something small, because I didn't know what it'd feel like, and I didn't know whether I'd be able to cope with the pain. So I thought I'll just have something small. And it's the only time I've ever walked into a tattooist and gone, yeah, that one. And I think it's supposed to mean elegance, but I mean, it could mean stupid bint for all I know, because I don't know Chinese. But that was my first one. I have thought about getting it covered over, but it's like it's my first tattoo, so
yeah,
even though it's pretty bad, it's still my first tattoo.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I've got that one from 16, and I've been very tempted to get it covered. But I've ended up saying no. It was there. It's a piece of my history. It's staying there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that. We were talking about music before. So obviously your music choices that were quite interesting. We had obviously Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Again, what about him appealed to you?
Well, I'd always been more into my rock music growing up, because, I mean, my dad was a huge Deep Purple fan. He was into Led Zeppelin. So I grew up listening to that kind of stuff anyway. And then Marilyn Manson, I remember I was traipsing around Nottingham with my parents one day, and they had those Virgin listening stations, and I'm bored, so I stood there and I just heard some Marilyn Manson. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And, you know, I got into stuff like Marilyn Manson and Typo Negative. from the age of about 15, I was going to Rock City in Nottingham, seeing bands and going to their club nights, and you know, I've seen all sorts like Machine Head and Fear Factory, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I did get into the whole, you know, goth thing, and I've had my hair. I think it'd probably be easier to name all the colours I haven't had my hair coloured. But yeah, I just love that kind of stuff. And whereas all my classmates were into stuff like the Spice Girls and Westlife and Boyzone and all that shite, and I just couldn't get it at all. I mean, I was not one of the cool kids at school. I was the weird one. The one that had lots of friends during the maths test, but other than that, no, I was weird and.
Yeah. So any other bands' music that really spoke to you? Because you can do, can't it? Certain bands can speak to you personally.
Yeah. I mean, I've had all sorts for different things. Korn, especially. I loved Korn for many years, and I still do now. And then there's the older bands like Van Halen. My dad liked a bit of Van Halen, and I love Van Halen.
Yeah.
And because Van Halen have just got music for every sort of mood you could possibly be in. They've got a song for that, and David Lee Roth, obviously. But
yeah. Yeah, did you like me prefer Dave Lee Roth to Sammy Hagar?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
David Lee is just.
and apparently a very gifted man in the trouser department.
He's a martial artist as well, so that makes it. And that's what attracted me to Zypho when I first met him as well. So
yeah.
He looked like David Lee Roth in an Iron Maiden t-shirt. So
well, there you go. Yeah. It's I was huge. I mean, obviously, Paul Eddie's passed now. I was gutted when I found out. As a guitarist myself, it was quite a shock. But it was expected because he's been struggling with cancer for years.
Yeah.
But it's still a shock. But not to worry. Not to dwell on negative things. I'd like to go over to movies if possible now. Again, guys, what I'm going to do is edit this video and I shall put clips in between so it'll all be edited up, and like I said, hopefully when my new PC turns up I won't have any of these issues again. But the first movie I want to mention is, we're talking about big head, it has to be Labyrinth.
TriStar Pictures announces the collaboration of three extraordinary talents. Jim Henson, creator of The Muppets and Dark Crystal.
Here you go with a head like that.
George Lucas, creator of the Star Wars saga. And one of the most innovative forces in modern entertainment, David Bowie. Together, they will take you into a dazzling world of fantasy and adventure.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
A world where anything seems possible, and nothing is what it seems.
Everything I've done for you. I move the stars for no one. Run so far, run so far.
The world of Labyrinth.
Oh yeah. Which I've got my Labyrinth t-shirt on.
Oh, do that again and just stand up a bit closer to the camera and I'll put it on big screen. There we go. There we go. So, there you go. Oh, fabulous. That is good. That's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Tell me about Labyrinth. Why is it so special to you?
Well, I remember going and seeing it at my best friend's house when we would have been about 8 and 9, I think. Maybe a bit older, maybe 10. And I loved it then for the adventure story, but again, it's one of those stories growing up, and it doesn't get boring. I could watch it over and over and over again and never get bored of it. I love it. It's, I mean, and as you're growing up, the David Bowie is something else, gorgeous. But, you know, just the ins and outs of the story and different things you notice as you sort of link that to that, and you know, bits that you see at the ending that link with bits you see at the beginning. And she's trying to memorize parts of the book that she's memorizing at the beginning. It's romantic. There's a romance in it, but it's kind of a bad romance in a way. It's not all happily ever after for them, and it's I just loved it. I've always loved the fantasy style things. I love the Dark Crystal as well. Watching that as a kid.
Yeah, just on speaking of the Dark Crystal, my last 2 pups apart that I kept, I've got a brother and sister, and I call them Jen and Kira.
Oh.
So they're the ones I took to Blackpool that time. Yeah, Jen and Kira after the Dark Crystal. Did you see the remake, the prequel of the Dark Crystal?
I've not actually, and I keep meaning to. So that's something for. Why is Al wanting to ban OSG?
Oh, I don't know. He's probably mentioned the C word. Commodore. He probably mentioned the Commodore word.
Anna's mentioned Bowie's bulge.
Oh, yes. Well, yes, he was, again, another gifted gentleman, I believe. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Mike Smith watched it today. Labyrinth with his little girl, and she loved it.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can't get bored of it. I mean, Star Wars was another one. I mean, I could go on about Star Wars all day. I didn't put it for this because I thought it might be a bit too obvious, but yeah, I like to annoy Zypho with my
yeah. Now, when you say Star Wars, now obviously I was there for the original trilogy. Are you talking original trilogy, or are you talking the
original? I mean, I grew up loving the original trilogy. I went to the cinema to see the prequels for The Phantom Menace. There was me and a group of my friends, and we were all stood out there dressed up, holding lightsabers and dead excited, queuing up outside the Odeon cinema in Nottingham, which is now gone. I think it's bloody Taco Bell now or something. But yeah, and I liked it. The prequels, I think that they had potential. I think it's a shame. I think George Lucas was allowed to go off on and do his own thing a bit too much. I think he needed more people in there to sort of, you know, say, George, people don't really talk like that, or George, this sounds shit. Whereas I think for the prequels, he had too many yes men. And I think the stories could have worked out better than they did. But, I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor was brilliant as Obi-Wan, and I really do hope they bring him back for this new Obi-Wan thing that they're doing. I really do.
Yeah. No, definitely, I agree. So I'm going to be controversial now, and where do you stand on the last 3 that we've had?
Oh dear.
Just be honest.
I was so... The Rise of Skywalker in particular, it's just... the whole 3 of them was... It was a mishmash, because it started off... The first one was... Yeah, it was a good ROM, but it was very, very similar to a Phantom Menace, but okay, I can see why they want to introduce the characters. The second one, okay, they're going off on a very weird tangent here. And then the third one was, okay, they're coming back to the original thing, but loads of stuff's been left out, loads of questions that have been unanswered, loads of storylines that haven't been followed up, and it didn't do it justice in the slightest. It was piss poor, to be honest, especially the third one. That they could have done so much better with it, and it, like, they didn't explain what Finn was trying to tell Ray. The whole of the film, it was just a mishmash, and it was poorly done. And they should have been allowed to. They should have kept the same director for all three, rather than arsing about with different directors.
Yeah. I agree. Again, it was another one of those that they had potential, but they just fucked it up. Yeah, let's be honest, they fucked it right off. And I think they stopped caring about the fans of the originals. I think that's where the biggest mistake they made.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, isn't it? You don't piss your regulars off.
Well, yeah, it's basic. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad nowadays. A lot of films come out and they just completely alienate their own fan base, which is stupid, absolutely stupid. Right.
And I'm just hoping and praying this new Ghostbusters movie is it's going to be decent, because.
No, I know. Yeah, I know exactly where you're going. So, still staying on films, we'll move over to one of my. Again, it's one of those amazing films of the time, and it's going to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mommy's going to the beauty parlor, darling. But I'm leaving you with your favorite friend, Roger. He's going to take very, very good care of you. Because if he doesn't, he's going back to the science lab.
Cut! What the hell is wrong with that take?
Nothing with you, baby Herman. You were great. You were perfect. You were better than perfect. Just Roger. He keeps blowing his lines. Roger, what's this? A tweeting bird? Tweeting bird? Roger, read the script. Look what it says. It says rabbit gets clunked. Rabbit sees stars. Not birds. Stars! Can we lose the playback, please? You're killing me.
For crying out loud, Roger. How many times do we have to do this damn scene? Raoul, I'll be in my trailer. Taking a nap. Excuse me,
Please, Raoul. I can give you stars. Just drop the refrigerator in my head one more time.
Roger, I kept on your head 23 times already.
I can take it. Don't worry about me.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the refrigerator.
This is the tale of an up-and-coming movie star named Roger Rabbit and a down-and-out private detective named Eddie Valiant.
Ooga booga.
Every moment they were together was a new adventure in trouble.
Hide me, Eddie. Please.
It's a motion picture about friendship.
Get easy. Please, Eddie. Don't show me out. You're making a big mistake.
Love. Compassion.
Well, I'm sorry I yanked your ears. All the time you yanked my ears?
Murder.
Marvin Acme. The rabbit cacked him last night.
Remember, you never saw me.
Sex.
I'd do anything for my husband, Mr. Valiant. Anything.
And violence.
Tunes. Gets him every time.
You wouldn't have any idea where the rabbit might be?
Got a thing for rabbits, huh?
The whole thing stinks like yesterday's diapers.
It's a comedy a little different from all the rest.
I'm a pig! I'm a tune.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Touchstone Pictures and Steven Spielberg present a Robert Zemeckis film.
We tunes may act idiotic, but we're not stupid.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. again, it was one I saw as a kid when I must have been quite little. I would have been about 7 or 8. And again, it's an adventure story and you love it, but as you get older, there's still things in there for adults that will make you laugh.
Yeah.
And I think Bob Hoskins did a great job at doing an American accent. I thought he was brilliant at it. But yeah, I think it's so underrated, and so many people either haven't seen it or they know of Jessica Rabbit, but they don't know they don't know sort of what happens in the storyline. And I really enjoyed it. It starts off, you know, with some quite adult themes, with Eddie Valiant drinking himself to death basically after the death of his brother.
Yeah.
And it's got Christopher Lloyd in as well, who's amazing as Judge Doom.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it. Just a brilliant adventure, again with proper scary baddies.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and the way, and obviously it was like that mix of real life and
the cartoons.
Yeah. The cartoons, definitely, yeah. It's superbly done, and again, it's one of those that's not really been replicated properly.
No.
So yeah, it certainly stands on it, and I certainly appreciate the adult theme and the little things the filmmakers added in. So, such as when he's walking between somebody's little babies and he's looking up. Those little freeze frames, yeah, with the little dodgy activities, certainly. And what was your final film? I'm just looking at my list.
Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, of course, Rick Mayall.
Honey, why don't you call him Drop Dead Fred?
Because that's his name, Daddy.
Like many small children, Lizzie had an imaginary playmate.
Drop Dead Fred is going to teach me how to cook today.
Someone she could talk to.
Sugar?
Yeah.
Someone she could share with.
Oh, Grandma Bun!
Someone who would never let her down.
No more Drop Dead Fred. Period.
Now Lizzie is all grown up.
To us.
And when her perfect life fell apart,
Charles, I lost my money, my car, my husband.
she didn't get mad.
Drop Dead Fred.
She got Fred.
What, who dropped dead?
Drop Dead Fred is this imaginary friend that I had as a child, and he's back.
Everybody has strange friends, even you must.
But all mine are alive.
Well, that's not saying much.
It's no wonder Charles left you.
Haven't got a husband, got a stupid haircut.
You see, you just don't know how to make a marriage work.
Well, let's get Charles back then. I'll help you.
Let's just behave ourselves.
Get up. No, Pandit.
He's back.
Yeah? Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing, except you're ruining my life.
To show her, no matter how bad things look now,
Peekaboo.
they can always get infinitely worse.
Drop Dead Fred was way out of control.
Have I got him? You're dead, little man.
There's nobody there.
It's because he's invisible. Idiot! I don't want an imaginary friend anymore.
Right, that's it. I hate you.
Ow!
Goodbye forever.
Drop Dead Fred.
Ugh, what does that taste like?
Every child should have one, especially when she grows up.
I love Rick Mayall. He's wonderful, and Ade Edmondson. I love Bottom, Young Ones. You know, I remember seeing Young Ones when I was about 11, and skirt and his eyes pop out. He goes, "Cobwebs," stuff like that. It's so irreverent and funny. I love it.
Yeah. Sorry, folks, if I just had a notification that it disconnected. So I don't know why it disconnected, because I've not been doing anything and I've got everything shut, so I apologise. But it's back on, I believe. Sorry to interrupt you there. Is there any other films, movies and things like that that really stand out to you in your childhood?
Bedknobs and Broomsticks was one I liked. again, it's quite an underrated Disney one. You don't see it compared to something like Mary Poppins or whatever. You don't see it played that often, but I loved it, and I loved the songs in it, and really.
Yeah, so, yeah. Obviously, what's coming through a lot is obviously you're a lot like me. You're leaning towards fantasy and things like that. I'll ask this one, which I haven't prepped you for, but books.
Ooh.
Fantasy books. Were you ever into reading?
Oh yeah, I used to read loads as a kid, and I mean, my mum used to say that I'd often wake up in the night when I was really little, and I'd just sit there and read. And because I did so much reading, I was when I did start school, I was already ahead of my class. But I just used to love it. I used to read my mum's old Enid Blyton books, which you wouldn't get away with nowadays. But Roald Dahl, I used to love all his books. And as I got older, I used to love stuff like, I still do love Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, Lord of the Rings. When I was younger, I used to love C.S. Lewis as well, all the Narnia books, which I've still got to this day. And I don't read as much now, just because I don't have time to. But I do try and read as much as I can, and I've been enjoying stuff like This Is Going to Hurt, which is the memoirs of a junior doctor.
All right.
But I do love my fantasy books as well.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna ask another controversial question now, because it's something that always comes to my mind. You read a book like obviously Lord of the Rings, and they make films out of them. Where do you stand? How do you feel about the films? Now, I personally, with books, you create the character images and the scenes already in your own head.
Yeah.
And films don't seem to match up to it, even though they did a brilliant job with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and various other books. Where do you stand on that?
I liked the adaptation of Lord of the Rings. I mean, there's only because with films though, there's only so much you can do. You've only got 3 hours tops to put all of this stuff in, and that's why Tom Bombadil was left out. But Arwen I felt she was shoehorned in a bit more than perhaps she should have been. But I mean, but overall, I like the films. But there have been other times, like when I saw The Shining by Stephen King, and I saw it fairly late on, but I'd read the book before, and I saw the film The Shining, and I thought, it's really shit. Sorry, I'm going to lose loads of friends here, but I just thought it was shit compared to what I'd read in the book.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, Andrew's agreeing she prefers books to films. Again, with books, it's more personal, and again, you create the scenes and the images in your own mind, and I don't think films can quite capture that. No. So, hiya, Joffa, good to see you, buddy. And definitely. Right, folks. Excuse me, I've got a cough. What I will ask now, if you do have a question for the lovely Kate, start putting them in the chat now. It can be anything at all, so I don't mind. Kate will pick them out. You can do it at Yellowbelly if you wish, to make them stand out. So please put your questions in. There is a delay, so between what I say and what is heard. So, yeah. FC Den Haag says, "Why did you study care?"
Oh, what did I study? At university, I studied physiology and pharmacology.
All right.
and that's where I met Zypho.
What was he studying?
He was studying computer science, but we met up in the Rock Society because of our love of music.
Yeah. There's a question at Yellowbelly. How many piercings do you have? So that's a question for me. Andrea, you already know the answer to that one, do you? And I will leave it at that.
What, the Prince Albert?
I'm saying nothing. So let's see what else comes in. So yeah, come on guys. Any questions for the lovely Kate? Get them in. It can be anything you want, as long as it's not too crude, because Zypho's in the chat. Let's see what comes through. Well, yeah, but speaking of piercings, you have a couple yourself, madame.
Yes, I have. Hang on. Eight, 18, 20. I think I've got 33.
33. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that just on your face here, or is that?
No, I've got a microdermal here, and there's a piercing that only Zypho sees.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Little toe. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Andrea. So there it is. Question is Zypho warmer in bed than a Silent Night electric blanket?
Oh yes, definitely. Because he works nights. I mean, it's really cold when I'm on my own, and I've got to put the thermal pajamas on and stuff. But when he's in bed, it's like a hairy hot water bottle.
Okay, what else have we got there? Is your piercings a problem at the airport security?
No, I've not been to an airport to test, so I don't know.
Okay, we've got from your lovely other half. When are you going to admit Ewoks are fictional characters and don't exist?
They do exist. I'm marrying one.
Okay. There we go. No more, does it?
That's the end of that.
Yeah, that's the end of that one. Right, Anna is asking, what was the first song that to really stand out to you?
Ooh. Wolf Moon by Typo Negative. That was one I love the lyrics of, and even though it's about something fairly rude, it's quite a beautifully written song. It's all of the music, the atmosphere it gives, and I mean that whole October Rust album I could listen to over and over again and not get fed up with it. I love it, 20 odd years later. Yeah, it's hard to. There's other songs that remind me of Zypho, for example.
Yeah.
I often have songs that remind me of people and that are connected to memories, I suppose. But
yeah, what do you have your song with Zypho?
Oh, there's a couple. One of them's Tichetto, Forever Young, and White Snake, Give Me All Your Love.
Oh, fantastic. I'm a huge Whitesnake fanboy, so absolutely huge. It's the 1987 album still speaks to me now on many levels, and yeah, amazing. John Sykes is my all-time favourite guitarist as well, so I'm a huge Whitesnake fanboy. And I think they've got another new album coming out. He was I don't know if he has kept going. They have kept going. Whitesnake, and releasing albums. The Forevermore album was amazing. I don't know if you heard that.
I don't
Yeah.
I mainly like their older stuff because, I mean, David Coverdale's voice isn't what it used to be, thanks to years and years of smoking. But
yeah, it's.
I saw them live. When was it? 2014, I think. So I remember he was with me. So
Yeah. Well, if you get a chance to listen to the Forevermore album, especially the song Forevermore, it is amazing. And his vocals he has had an operation on his throat.
Really?
Yeah, and he's almost there again.
Oh, brill!
He's almost there again where he used to be. Obviously, he can't hit the real strong highs he used to. Yeah, but it's still, it's still going, and it's still amazing. Absolutely, So I highly recommend the Forevermore album. And if you like the 1987 album, you will definitely like the Forevermore album. So there we go. That's maybe one for Zypho to dig out for you and sort you out with some songs from. Let's have a look. Right, we have OSG saying, Kate, if Zypho was given the ultimatum of it's you or the Amstrad, who would win?
I think I'd win, but if he was given the choice of me and Bruce Campbell, he'd pick Bruce Campbell. He's a massive Bruce Campbell fanboy.
There you go.
So,
there you go. Why everybody the Never-Ending Story? Never-Ending Story. Were you into that one?
yeah, I liked it. I mean, I didn't like it as much as, I know this is sacrilege, I didn't like it as much as Labyrinth or Dark Crystal. But yeah, I watched it and I enjoyed it. So
yeah, there we go. So I liked it. I actually bought the. Sorry to go on to Amstrad, but I actually bought the game on the Amstrad, and So yeah, that's happy days. Let's have a look what else we've got here.
Another good film as well.
Say again.
Return to Oz.
All right, yeah, go on.
That was really, really dark compared to it's supposed to be the sequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it is good in its own right, but it's really dark compared to Judy Garland and
yeah. So, any more questions for Kate in the chat? Put them in now. You won't get another opportunity, guys. It can be anything you wish within reason. So they're all on. This is what they're all on about the Never-Ending Story now. This is what sparked me to do this series, is to because people's memories just start flooding through, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and again, that's what inspired me to do this series. So yeah, Zypho's saying he loves it. The Return to Oz. Does Zypho invite his CPC friends home for gaming? Obviously not at the moment.
Oh, we might do. It depends how nicely you ask him.
So if you live nearby Nottingham, I'm sure he'll if he knows you well enough, he'll certainly have you around. I'm not going to speak for him, so I'll shut up now. Let's have. Are you flying over from Germany, Mike? Oh, there you go. So Mike, who asked the questions, in Germany. So I think he's looking for a UK holiday, maybe. So let's see what else here. Yeah, right. Mikey Smith says he wants to come round. Yeah, there we go. Right. So after the lockdown now, Kate, I'm sorry, it's party at your house. There we go. Let's have a look. Yeah. Right. I'll just see if any more come in. I've got one for you. It's one I usually ask people with little uns. What will be the first things that you'd like to introduce to Baby Zy?
Oh, well, it's going to be Amstrad, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe a nice adventure game for him. I mean, we're getting him a tablet thing for his for Christmas. but that's just going to have like CBeebies games on it, which are all educational things. But I don't know, when it comes to proper retro games, yes, there's the Amstrad, but I think maybe something on the PlayStation might be easier for him to get to grips with, because the controllers, I think a controller's a lot easier much more ergonomical than a keyboard.
Yeah.
When it comes to controlling things.
Oh no, I agree. I agree completely. It's I always tell this story. My lad, he was 16, 15, I should say, and I got him one of the Xbox, whatever it was, at the time, and he'd be playing that for ages, and I thought, right, come here, have a go on this, and I just put on an old Amstrad game, Galactic Plague, and he lasted less than 5 seconds. And he was like, how do you play these games? They're too hard. So it's like, yeah. Our older kids, when they were younger, according to Zypher, loved, oh, mummy, Space Hawks and Psycho Pigs UXB. There you go. Yeah. Do you mind me asking how many you do have?
3.
3, because we only ever hear of Baby's Eye, you see. So
yes, so I've got 2 older children from when I was married before, and yeah, got all boys, so it's just me and Zai and 3 more boys in the house. I'm completely outnumbered.
Yeah, it's a house full of testosterone. Fantastic. Yeah. Lovely question there from Andrea. I missed it. There it is. What 3 items would you take on a desert island?
Well, you've practical things, or do you assume that you've got all the practical things?
I assume they're practical. Yeah, that you've got them. Yeah. So.
Because you need a BFK, but if I could take 3 things, I'd take Al, a player of some description with my music in it, because I couldn't live without that, and possibly books.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. And let's have a look. Yeah. I'll be throwing one of the kids. Yeah. A few people saying in the thing. There's other conversations going on. Well, my dear, I think we're at the end. That wasn't so bad, was it?
Yes, OSG, they've been dumped for books. Yeah, if I'm going to be on a desert island, I want some fucking peace and quiet, don't I?
Too right. Too right. Yeah. Radio. So, we are at the end. Sorry it's a little bit shorter than usual, guys, because the stream issues again. I do promise that there will be... I will edit this video and I will put the clips in, etc. of everything we've been discussing. And... thank you so much for being a member of the retro community. And is Mr. Man there stood next to you?
Hang on.
Does he want to show his face on camera?
You silly old git. Come here.
We did discuss, folks, if he wants to show his face and say hello. Oh, what's you?
Don't worry.
Yeah, there's the man himself, the Ewok. All right, mate. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, all good.
All
She's
good.
done very well tonight.
Yeah.
Very proud.
Yeah, she's great on camera. She really is, and we need to see more of her. I don't mean that the dodgy way. Well, actually, I do, but.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, she'll be on Twitch with us.
Fantastic. We all love a bit of Kate on Twitch, and with the big question is, are you going to play Tekken on stream with Kate kicking your ass?
I beat you last time.
No,
what are
you
you on
didn't.
about?
You beat me with some matches, but overall, I still beat you.
Oh, it was close. It was probably a draw.
No, it wasn't.
So there you
it
go.
was not a draw.
Rematch coming up.
There we go, rematch. Thanks for popping in, Zypho, and saying hello. I appreciate it. Superb. Well, we are at the end of the stream, guys. It's Mikey is streaming after me, maybe about past. As you can hear, the puppies have woke up and are now screaming in the background, so I have to see to those. And big thanks, everybody, for tuning in, despite the technical issues that I've been having. I promise you, I have ordered a new laptop. It's all singing, all dancing, and it's costing me an arm and a leg. So we won't have these issues again. So what I usually like to do is give my my guests the opportunity to say goodbye to everybody. And yeah, if you wish to, Kate, say goodbye to the people.
Bye, everybody, and see you all on Zy's stream tomorrow, probably.
There we go. And yeah, the lovely Kate is going to be on Zy's stream tomorrow. And we love you, Kate. We really do. And I really appreciate you coming on. Oh, no, it's a pleasure to have you every time. It really is. And yeah, that sounds dodgy as well, doesn't it? But he's not in the room, so. But big thanks to everybody in the chat for putting up with me and my technical issues. Yes, the links have gone into the chat, so Peter's done that. I think Mikey's going to start around 9:30ish, so that gives you everybody a chance to grab a cup of tea or something maybe a bit stronger to join him. And again, big thank you to the awesome tattooed harridan herself, Kate White.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, folks, I shall bid you adieu and see you next week. And Novabug just turns up as we're finishing. There we go. Yeah, typical. So, yeah, big thank you. And all that leaves now is, yeah, have a rewatch, buddy. Yeah, have a rewatch. Big thanks to everybody in the chat. Big thanks to Kate. Big thanks for Zypho as well for letting me kidnap his to-be wife for a couple of hours and get him to pull his weight. And so with that, I shall say, Yellowbelly out.